Today, I'm in a vehicle that I have been trying to get into, well, for several months now. And every time it was either being used for somebody else, or it was in the shop one time that it got postponed. But I'm finally in it. This is the 2023 Hyundai IONIQ 6. I thoroughly enjoyed the IONIQ 5, and so I was really anticipating this specific vehicle, the IONIQ 6. And so today, we're going to talk about this vehicle, what I like, what I don't like, and why it is coveted, or at least characterized as well as it currently is. So, without further ado, the 2023 Hyundai IONIQ 6. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to techgooch, and today we're in the 2023 Hyundai IONIQ 6. Now, the big thing about this specific vehicle is it's a vehicle that's right at the range that I think most people really want or need. Now, I do tend to like something in the plus 300 range myself, because I live in the Midwest. I don't live as close to some of the major cities that have more and more chargers, but things are getting better and better every month. Essentially, we're seeing new chargers pop up, and I love that. It makes it feel a lot more comfortable. This one specifically, this is the Hyundai IONIQ 6 limited all-wheel drive long range. So this has 270 miles of rated range. Now, rated range is one of those things, if you've done anything with EVs before, rated range means in perfect conditions it can go that far, right? It's kind of like your fuel economy for your car. You're never really probably going to get it all the time. Some vehicles you do. Some vehicles you get better than it. And in this case, if you're in perfect conditions going downhill a lot, you'll get better than the anticipated range. But that said, don't expect 270 miles of range every time you charge up, right? In all reality, you shouldn't be charging to 100% anyway, but at least it gives you the standalone point of what's this vehicle capable of. And 270 is solid, right? 270 is definitely worthwhile. I would definitely go north of 250, without a doubt, if I was looking at a vehicle that's going to be my primary vehicle in the electric vehicle range. Now, there are a few things with this specifically that I really like, and there are a few things that I don't like so much, and I'm going to get into those. One of those carries over from the IONIQ. Actually, I'm sorry, two of those carry over from the IONIQ 5. You could probably argue that all of them carry over from the IONIQ 5. So it's one of those things, or a few of those things that just get me every time. And so we're going to talk about those. So stay tuned if you want to go through those downsides to this vehicle. But first, we're going to go about the upsides, and we're going to go through the vehicle itself and talk about what I really like about this, how you sit in it, how it handles. But I will say right off the bat, the one thing that you may notice here as we're getting closer, if you get in the 23 to 17 mile per hour range, it's a loud vehicle. 25, it's nice and quiet. It's really quiet. If I go down to that 23, it starts kicking in and has this really electric whine, and at 20 it's a lot louder. It's kind of weird, but when you get the loudest, is what I found is 16, 17 miles an hour to 23. That's the loudest range that you could be in. As soon as you go above 23 miles an hour, it's just super quiet. It's kind of weird. But that's what it is. That said, it is really windy outside, but I do want to do a walk around. I do want to go through the interior step by step like we normally do. So let's do that. Now, I do apologize. It is quite windy and very cold out today. Yeah, just not a great day. But it's the last day I have before the vehicle goes. So this is the IONIQ 6. Now, the thing is about this specific vehicle, I'm going to get back here, is it has this nice curvature to it. Really nice curvature. It's unique. You still have this pixelated type look like that carries over from the IONIQ 5, and that in and out is actually my camera doing that. There we go. Those square pixels, I really like that. I love that they carried that over. Fantastic. Now, this has 20-inch wheels on it. It is the long-range model, like I said. And if we get to the back, same thing with that pixelated look all along the back here. Even the You can kind of see the pixelations up here as well, but just looks really nice. I do like the look of the vehicle. And it does have 360-degree cameras, so underneath the mirrors, as well as up here up front. This one's nice and hidden in the front bumper, right there. They did a good job on the look, the aesthetics of this specific car. I like it. Okay, so you can see that it is unlocked for me, and we're going to jump in the front seat. And so, right out of the gate, let me get this a little bit brighter. Things that you can see, really nice handles. You can kind of see the glow, and it's not flickering like that for me. That's just the frame rate of the camera that's picking up the light. It does have ambient lighting, has upper and lower ambient lighting. You can see I actually have a two-tone, orange below, kind of a cyan blue up top, and you can customize that. We'll show you that here in a second. Now, one thing, the doors are nice. The speakers are built in here. It does have a Bose sound package on it. Does have 2 seat memory here, and lots of space. I will say you can get lots of legroom, even front and back seat on this, but we'll show you the back seat here shortly. This is one thing I don't like as much, but I understand why they didn't keep it here, because it would kind of be cumbersome, is the mirror control. Now, the thing is, I'm okay with mirror controls being here. I don't like it, but you're only going to use this really when you set it up. You're pretty much not going to use it unless you change seating positions or something. So, but that's it. And then same with the fold in the mirror button. That's over here as well. And then your, traction control, things like that. Electric parking brake. Now, if you've used a Hyundai before, you're probably used to the steering wheel. We have our driver information controls here that we can go through. So we can see right now, for some reason it's telling me I still have a low tire, even though I filled them back up. But I think it just takes time for it to go out. Should be at 36 technically, but it's up to 35. And it's just super cold out. But yeah, that's what these are. These are controls for that. We do have our drive mode, and if we come over here, I can go between sport, eco, and normal. And then we do have our volume control on the right, track control, call control, mode control, between the modes on the radio and stuff. That's all here on the right hand side. So it is different to have the cruise control stuff on the left and the radio on the right, because almost all of the vehicles here in the US, it's the opposite. The cruise control is going to be on the right and the radio controls are on the left. So that was kind of weird getting used to be honest. I kind of like it the other way around. I like it flipped because I'm so used to it, but this is something that muscle memory will eventually get figured out. So it's not really a detractor to the car. It's just something to know out going from right away. So yeah, we went over the driver cluster here, really nice and bright. It does have a dark mode, so when it goes nighttime, I wonder if I can click that over with the lights. Nope, it does have a dark mode that automatically goes on when it gets darker out, so that'll turn black. And same thing with this display over here. So this one has the same display as we had basically that you have on the IONIQ 5. If we go to setup here, this is where I wanted to show you. In the vehicle settings, we can actually go into the lights and then ambient light control. This is where we can change some of those colors. So right now I'm in custom dual color, and so you can change this stuff here. So right now I'm in custom, that teal and blue, and you can, so I choose custom here again. Let's see here, set custom color, there it is. You can set that, any part of that color wheel there, and choose whatever color you would like. And then it just previews the color in the middle. So I'm gonna leave it like that for now. Let's see, anything else? If we go back to setup, EV setup, you can see where we can change the maximum charge we really want to go, the charging current, our AC charging current, battery conditioning mode. So that does have the battery conditioning used during winter to maintain driving performance. Makes sense. Utility, yeah, so all these smart regeneration systems, you can change this. Medium deceleration, strong deceleration, slower. So you can change that in here. Charging conductor mode, so while charging, it'll lock the charger, or you can have it never lock or always lock. It's up to you. The nice thing is it just gives you all these options. That's what I like to see on as many of these features as possible. Options, and options that save are always preferable. Let's leave that for now, and we're going to come down here to the standard features you get in most vehicles, like climate control, things like that. You will also notice there is a start-stop button. This is something that I wish that they would do away with. It is an EV. If I had the key in my pocket and I push the brake pedal, I would rather it just turn on automatically and just forego that button, because I can't tell you how many times I've left the vehicle having to go back in to push that button to turn it off, because I'm so used to driving an EV that doesn't have that feature, and I love it. I miss it every time I'm in this vehicle, is that specific function. Climate controls work great. They're simple. Turning on defrost, both front and back. It does have an auto mode. You can have 3 different settings in auto mode if you want to increase the air output. The downside to this specific unit is heated seats. It does have heated seats and heated steering wheel. It's right here, but by pushing it there, it brings it up on the screen. So let me click here, and now I have to control it on the screen. So it's a push button, wait for it to come up here, then, you know, turn on the heated seats. Now it does have cooled seats, you know, as well. So a fan, you can go down and cool them as well. And then the heated steering wheel is right here in the center. I just wish that I didn't have to push a button and then go up to the touch screen to control it. Either put it on the touch screen and have me have it there, or have a button down here. Don't have it one then the other. I don't like that. That is one of those things that I really dislike. So that'd be number 1. There we go. Number 1 thing I dislike is the 2 button to turn on my seat heater. I'd rather just have a physical button, or just a little button on the touchscreen like my Tesla has. It's always there, quick and easy. Most people probably would prefer a physical button. Now I will say this, it does have a Qi-charger, does work with a MagSafe case. You just have to make sure that it is lined up good and that the magnets aren't in the way of the charger, but it does work well. USB port here. And this is something I will say as well. This radio is CarPlay as well as Android Auto capable, but not wirelessly. So Bluetooth, my phone, I can have Bluetooth through the radio, but if I want to use CarPlay from my iPhone, I have to use that USB port. I really dislike that, specifically for a new car. I think that's just terrible. If you're going to use CarPlay, then make it wireless. It's ridiculous that it isn't. So there's number 2, I guess. Cup holders, standard, work good. The window controls here in the center, as well as lock and unlock and everything right here. Pretty basic, pretty standard, works really, really well. We do have a nice bin here, and maybe I should lighten it up a little bit. Let me get my sunglass case out of the way. Ugh. Let's see, there we go. So you can see how deep it is. 2 USB-C charging ports. It works well. And this armrest, not padded a whole lot, but enough to keep your elbow from getting too hard or too uncomfortable. Last thing I will touch on up here is the glove box. Standard glove box, nothing fancy there. But all in all, I do like the interior. If we want to go up above, we do have just our standard light controls. We do have an interior light, and then we have a standard sunroof. I would much rather have a larger panoramic roof myself, but of course that's some people prefer having the sunroof. I would much rather have a panoramic roof that doesn't open, but this does open. So it is a full sunroof, and it has that cover there that you can open or close all powerfully. So there you go. Now here's another thing that I dislike. I just got out of the driver's seat, and because of that it's unlocked, but the rear is locked and I can't open it. And to unlock it, I either got to get the key out of my pocket or walk in here and do this. And of course I understand I don't have it set so it automatically unlocks, but it is an annoyance. Let's get the back seat here. Now, if there's one thing that you'll notice real quick, the legroom is enormous. It is enormous. It's fantastic. Super abundant amount of room in this guy. And I have this guy back, I'm 5'11", and I have way more than enough space. Even though you can see how big of the space is, that's almost like an F250 or something, crew cab, max crew cab. USB-C ports here for the charger. We do have power window control here on the doors, and then in the center, cup holders there. Now the thing is, we had 5 people in here at one time, and these seats are very comfortable, even in the back. So longer trips, this is a very, very comfortable car. Not only do you have tons of room, but it's actually very, very comfortable. And also, always something to say is headroom. I'm 5'11". It's got good headroom. Is it huge? No, but way more than enough, I think, than most cars are gonna have. So yeah, that is the back seat. I apologize if it gets windy, but we are outside. I'm gonna push this button here. That's how we open the trunk. Should block our wind a little bit. And we do have a decent amount of trunk room. Here's the EV charger that it comes with, just a standard level 1 charger. That can actually go down here if you'd like to store it in the, what I would call the sub trunk. It's not very big, but the trunk is decently sized. It's not huge, but we're going to be able to get plenty of suitcases in there here shortly. So let's go back to my house, I guess, and let's do that suitcase test quick. Okay, here we go. Let's do the old carry-on luggage test. I am going to take this charger and put it below, just so it's out of the way. We do also have a mobility kit, tire mobility kit back there that's actually Velcroed to it. So I'm going to leave that in place. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm hoping I can get, I don't think I can. Oh, partial 4. But that tire mobility kit is actually what's doing it. I'm gonna actually do it a favor. I'm gonna stick that off to the side here, because I think I can get, oh, nope, it's not that. Five. I don't think 6 is gonna happen. It's just not quite there. I think 5 and some extra bags. That's where we're going to be with the carry-on suitcase test. So I did want to show what the ambient light looks like in the car here at night, and looks pretty cool if you ask me. You can see my orange and cyan there in the doors. Yeah, just looks really neat. Also, here's what the dark mode looks like when you're driving at night. You can see it's a lot more toned down. And then same thing with the radio here. All the black background just looks a lot easier on the eyes in the low light environment. So one of the things I wanted to talk about real quick is this number right here, which is the estimated range. So I just actually filled up, I just got done filling to 100% battery. So right now it's telling me, based on my driving conditions, based on what I'm doing in my vehicle, it's 232 miles. If I turn on the defroster, it's gonna drop. So I'm gonna drop that on. So 216 miles. It is an actual accurate reading that what you can expect out of the vehicle. So what we were talking about earlier was, what's the maximum range? This is the actual range you're gonna get based on the driving conditions and heat, different settings you have on the vehicle. That's the range you can expect. I really like that that's the number that's front and forward for you to see, because that makes it a lot more accurate. And one last item for, this is pretty much all electric cars that I've ever done yet, is how fast it takes to heat up to defrost the window. So it actually is still frozen on portions of my window, but I mean, it took a minute, to get it to where it is. And the car heats up so fast because it's all electric heat. So it's just something I wanted to point out that I love about heat. And look at that deer. Awesome. It's actually a buck. Cool. So before I get back to driving, I did want to talk about 2 features that I dislike about this car. Now I've talked about 2 so far, and one is actually a carryover of that. Number 1, and we're going to start from the outside, the door handles. The door handles I really like, but there's a feature of them that I wholeheartedly disagree with and dislike with a passion that I would not want my vehicle having. And that is, whenever the vehicle is unlocked, the door handles stick out at 45 degrees from the vehicle. Now, Most of the time that doesn't really mean anything. It tells you that the vehicle's unlocked and at least gives you a vertical, a visual cue that it's unlocked. However, I have had it happen, and this is the same thing with the IONIQ 5, that something happens whenever on my other vehicles are a little bit different, right? That sometimes you just forget to lock the vehicles. You just forget to lock it. It's on your driveway, you're doing something, maybe you're in and out, and then you go in, close the garage door, and you just forget about it. And in this case, it was outside of my home, sitting unlocked all night. Now, I live in a good neighborhood. Most likely nothing will ever happen. Could it? Of course it could. There is no neighborhood that is crime. There is no crime, right? That doesn't exist. But the fact is, this vehicle alerts people that the doors are unlocked. And it does not have a settings that, hey, if I don't go into the vehicle for 20 minutes, lock the doors. I don't have that setting. I wish that if it sensed the key going away from it, I had a setting that on here, just like when I approach the vehicle, it'll unlock automatically. I want it to, when I leave the vehicle and there's nobody in here and the vehicle's turned off, I want the doors to lock automatically. That needs to be a feature, because them sticking out, letting everybody know that, hey, this vehicle's unlocked, I truly dislike. Absolutely dislike it. And it's not just me. Most of the people I talk to say that's a bad idea. Now, of course, you have vehicles that have mirrors that fold in when it's locked and stick out when it's unlocked, but a lot of times you can turn that feature off, and that's not as much of a visual cue as the door handles literally sticking out for you to grab onto. So that's number one. Secondly is the regenerative braking slash, I guess what you would call one pedal driving. So in this vehicle, they call it iDrive. And you can go into here and set it for its standard feature to be, the medium setting or the heavy setting. You can do that. But I would really actually like it to actually have a setting where that if I was driver one and I use the driver profiles here, that it remembers that every single time. It knows that I'm driver one, I want the regenerative braking to be this, right? I would like to see something like that. So it's not something that I'm hating on this vehicle, because this has the capability, using the paddle shifters essentially, where they would be, right? I can adjust how much regenerative braking this vehicle has on it. So if I set it to max, when I turn it off and I get back in the vehicle, I want it to be back on max because that's what I used. Or if I have it on level 2, it remembers that. The thing about this, even if you go into the setting and you choose your max regenerative braking or medium or whatever, which I showed earlier, every time you turn this vehicle back on, it'll revert to level 3 regenerative braking, which is one step above actual iPedal or one pedal driving. So every time I start driving, I have to hit the left paddle to turn max or iPedal driving back on, or max regenerative braking back on. That is something that I think truly needs to be addressed, because it is the most annoyance, the biggest annoyance, the most annoying thing that I've had with this vehicle is that. Because if I set the vehicle to be my way, just like I set the mirrors to be here and I set the seat to be here, I want it to drive like I expect it to drive. I don't want to have to adjust the driving technique every single time I'm in the vehicle. Again, it's a small annoyance that builds up. This specific thing, hitting it, for the first, I would say 5, 6, 8 times I drove it, not a big, it is what it is. But driving it over the week and driving it 3 or 4 or 5 times a day for a week, I dislike that with a passion. The iPedal, or what they call iPedal or one pedal driving, the max regenerative braking this thing has, works great. If I want to pop that off real quick and easy, I can do that. I love the fact that it gives me so many options. There's max, there's level 3, there's level 2, there's level 1, and then there's level 0, right? That's a lot of options that I have for regenerative braking, but I have to make that choice every single time I turn the vehicle on. I truly dislike that. So if there's one thing that Hyundai needs to realize, they need to make it so either A, it just remembers what the vehicle was set at the last time it was driven, or I would prefer it, there's 2 driver profile buttons over there. Link it to that, because maybe my wife and me want to have a different regenerative braking, but I want it to be the same way. I want to expect it to be the same every time I start driving, because I can't tell you, it's actually kind of a safety hazard, because I'm used to this, and then I start driving and I let go of the pedal, and all of a sudden, whoa, why am I not slowing down as much? Oh, that's right, I gotta slap the pedal to get that. Truly annoying. So that's my 2 cents on the couple features that I dislike. So I don't want to end this video on a sour note. If I'm honest about it, I'm very picky, I'm very critical of EVs because I love them so much. And when I love something so much, I tend to be very critical of it. Whether it's something, I mean, I'm very critical of the Tesla that I own. Very critical about certain things about it, that I wish that there are things that I wish they would change. However, this specific vehicle, I'm very critical about a few features. All in all though, this is a wonderful EV. Hyundai did a fantastic job with this thing. Yes, there are things that they could do better. I can't think of a single vehicle that I can't say that about. There are certain vehicles, specifically certain EVs that I've driven and tested that, man alive, they really need to change some stuff. But Hyundai's really done well. The IONIQ 5 was the first one I got in and felt like this is a vehicle that I would recommend people buy to go long distance and enjoy it. The IONIQ 6 is exactly the same as the IONIQ 5. Another one that I can say, yes, with confidence, I can make a recommendation for this car. Not every car is suited for every driver. This specific one, while it has a lot of technology in it, it doesn't have as much as my Tesla has. However, it's got a lot of nuances and features that people are used to that a lot of people don't want to give up, right? They don't want to give up the physical buttons. That's great. There are lots of vehicles on the market, and the lovely thing is the EV market is getting more and more saturated with more options, so people don't feel like they have to choose between that one or that one. I want to have as many options as possible as you would with a traditional ICE vehicle, and that's where you're coming down. We're finally starting to come into. This specific vehicle, the IONIQ 6 long-range all-wheel drive, I could see myself driving this absolutely as my daily driver. I really do like it. It's quieter than my Model 3. It is a smoother ride than my Model 3. In all reality, it's more comfortable than my Model 3. The front seats are really nice. The rear seats are fantastic comparative. So all in all, just because I was hating on it for a few minutes, I would hate it on. I want to give you as much of my honest opinion about this vehicle as I can. And that's where I'm coming from. I want to be as honest as I can. I spent a lot of time in this car. I've gone through over a battery and a half driving on this car. So I have some thoughts, and I wanted to make sure I shared them with you, because if I wasn't honest, I wouldn't be doing this. So we're coming up to the highway here, and of course that's one of those things that you have to do when you have an EV. Is I'm going to put it in sport mode too, so it has a little more oomph to it. And I'm going to hold on to my camera, and I'll wait for these guys to pass. Get it up here and step on it, and that's 60. So look, if you've never experienced the acceleration of an electric vehicle, by now make an appointment and get it done, because it doesn't matter. Any of the good top range EVs that are on the market, from Hyundai, from a lot of manufacturers, if it has 0 to 60 in less than 5, you will feel that rush, and it is fantastic. So this is the Hyundai IONIQ 6. Look, I can't beat a dead horse, right? It's a solid vehicle. I thoroughly have enjoyed reviewing it. I've spent a good amount of time, and I'm actually going to be sad to see it go tomorrow. Yeah, so that's where I sit with this specific vehicle. I like it a lot. Is it a Tesla killer? No, it's not a Tesla killer. But in all reality, they're not identical. They're not the same type of vehicle. They have different ways of approaching things. A lot of people don't like the minimalistic features that the Tesla offers that this does not. And so if you don't like that, then hey, come on over here. This has got everything I think you're looking for. So Hyundai IONIQ 6, 2 thumbs up from me, and good job, Hyundai. I hope that you work on improving and changing a few of the features that I disliked, but we'll see over time. I'm hoping to keep doing these videos year to year on the IONIQ 5, IONIQ 6, and the whole IONIQ line as they progress. So thanks for watching to the end of this video, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll catch you back here on techgooch for another future video review. I'm gonna keep doing them because I have a lot of fun doing them. So take care, see you soon.